where do I get my information from?
I don't know.
From comics. That's how I do it. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, John. Nader, congratulations for the book. Friends, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to be with friends, with new friends, especially with those with whom we had done so much over the years. I mean, we could spend hours talking about what you, the group, has done, at least for other country, Lebanon. It's in your book. But we've done, personally myself and many among you, a lot also for the United States, our home, and in terms of national security, in terms of foreign policy. I have served in 2 presidential campaigns, but more important than that is that we have a solidarity among ourselves. And as Tom has said, we've been working for many decades, when I was 5 years old. What I would like to do quickly is have a very light description of where we're heading, since Lebanon is in the Middle East. I will digress a little bit and talk about the region, not just Lebanon, and look at where the Trump administration will be going, in which direction. I think that would be a nice closing for the speeches. I remember during the time of the early briefings with then candidate Trump, it was end of 2015, that what you have mentioned. I can talk about one session I had with him where I came to brief him with a lot of files, as I did with Mitt Romney before him, but he was different. So I started my briefings, and he said, stop. I want those 3 pages, 3 papers. I said, which ones? He said, those 3 maps. He only wanted to see maps. And he said, put all that information on the maps. He's a real estate strategist. He has been so for many years, many decades. So he understands the balance of power. He quickly understands when you project numbers onto, sort of graphics and so on and so forth. And it was during that meeting, which is going to be in my memoirs, my next book, that he basically made choices, important choices that have been subject for discussions all the way through tweets or through policy papers throughout the campaign, the transition, and now the last 2.5 years. One of which was the idea of an Arab coalition. I think was mentioned, Arab coalition. It was actually materializing in 2017 when the president went to Riyadh and addressed 50 Arab and Muslim leaders. And I mean, the meeting by itself, other presidents have attended previous meetings. Like President Obama went to Cairo to speak to a meeting that had mostly the Brotherhood in it. Our president now went to meet with 50 Arab and Muslim leaders, talking about the necessity of driving out the ideology of the Brotherhood. It was a huge 180 degrees change. And then he spoke, of course, about security zones, safe zones, one of which saw life in Syria. The SDF, the Kurdish area in the northeast, is actually a security zone for many Syrians who are not either under the Brotherhood or Daesh or the Assad regime. So it did materialize. In addition to a third concept, which was about vetting. Now, our president, he tweets about matters, and it's very limited what he can say, and he has a lot of problems with many people, many opponents. But him insisting on vetting is really the cutting edge of our national security, of our homeland security, in terms of detecting who's coming to our country. Should it be through planes, ships, or now crossing the Rio Grande? That is a matter that has caught his attention. So these are just 3 points that were brewing since end of 2015, and modestly, I'm so happy that I was part of that early rise of these matters. Obviously, when the entire administration was formed and the bureaucrats and the professionals came in, he had to meet with all the obligations. And one thing to be a candidate, and another thing to be, from 7 a.m. to God knows what time at night, dealing with the real problems of the country. Now, my second point is, unfortunately, over the first 1.5 years of his administration, many of these files and plans that many of his advisors and all of us have helped the administration to move in that direction, have kind of slowed down. We know that. And the reason for why it's slowed down is because of this very sharp opposition. We hear about it every single day. Should it be the probe that ended a few hours ago, or other sharp opposition in the House, or even some senators or politicians, and certainly many of the radical wings of the opposition? They have slowed down many of the matters that the president and the administration wanted to engage in. I am happy now to see that the administration and the president are moving beyond. What he has done with regard to Iran is really uber fast. It's really stunning. The withdrawal from the Iran deal. Amazing sanctions, economic sanctions on various parts of the Iran regime. And the big one was the designation of the Iran Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist entity. I mean, all the Arabs that I speak with, many politicians and leaders, they ask me, how come in a year and a half, little things were done, and then suddenly in a few weeks or a few months, a lot of things started to happen? It's because he's freer, the administration is freer now to move forward. Other matters of interest would be the fact that he is now telling the Iranians that I have a balance of power in the region. And another item, that Iranian militias are not acceptable in the region. They're not tolerated anymore in the region. So I feel that on the practical matters we are moving back, moving forward. And on the, I think, war of ideas front, he made a statement about the Brotherhood tweet and about other matters, very important. So probably people like myself and most of you here who day by day follow up on these issues, we can see the progress. What is needed now is people like us and our friends and the friends of our friends to relay this to the public. That's why you go on TV, guys, you write, you tell your neighbors, I'm on Fox News and on many other networks in the region. It is important that the public understand what the decision makers are trying to do, especially that we are at, year and few months from the next election. I'm not going to be talking about the elections here, but that's important. So these little gatherings, thank you for those who organized them. Thank you, the coalition, for doing them. Thank you, everybody, the journalists among us here. What is important is to keep informing the public, keep educating the public. And again, thank you for inviting me, and have a wonderful evening and a great week.
Can you take up the questions?
I think
The first one, you think the Trump administration